Hi everyone, I'm Rince11 and I made this short video today to explain the concept of inheritance and how it affects your aim, or more accurately, how it doesn't affect your aim for certain characters in Overwatch. Based on what I've been reading over at the Overwatch subreddit, there's actually quite a few people who have never heard of the concept of inheritance, so that's why I'm making this video today. In order to best explain this concept, I'm actually going to be making comparisons to Tribes Ascend. For those of you unfamiliar with Tribes, it's an FPS with just absolute tons of air-to-air projectile combat, so understanding inheritance is really an essential part of being successful in that game. Tribes has anywhere from 0% inheritance, which is what Overwatch has, by the way, to 100% inheritance, so it really is the perfect comparison. So with that being said, let's get into it. Okay, so I've loaded into Tribes Ascend here. I've picked the Blinks Fuser, which is the weapon I'm using right now. It's a weapon that has 100% inheritance, so what that means is any velocity that I have, like side to side, up and down, there's jetpacks in this game if you haven't played it, any velocity that I have, the weapon's going to inherit. So, standing still, obviously the gun is going to shoot where I'm aiming it, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to move left to right and then fire when my reticle's over top of this guy. And you'll notice that the projectile won't go straight at him. It'll actually move off to the right. That's inheritance, and this is actually what a lot of people expect to experience in Overwatch. But that doesn't always happen. Well, it never happens in Overwatch because inheritance doesn't exist in that game. So a lot of people might be thinking that, when you're playing Pharah, that, if you're jetting up and to the right, that you might need to, account for inheritance, because it seems natural. Inheritance seems like something that, inheritance is a real physics thing in the real world. If you are traveling in a car and you throw a baseball out the window, the baseball inherits whatever the baseball inherits whatever velocity you have. Not 100%. This is a video game, but that's how it works. Okay, in order to tie everything together, I've switched into Overwatch here. I've gone into training mode. So I was talking about 100% inheritance in Tribes and how your weapon, when I was moving left to right, your weapon would inherit the velocity. So now I can show you how in this game, when you're moving left to right, I fire when I'm over top of the enemy and it always hits them. And essentially, the concept is as simple as this. The projectile always goes where you're aiming, 100% of the time. So like if you're flying in the air, you don't have to account for whatever your momentum might be. Just, if your enemy's standing still, then you want to click on him. If these bots move erratically, so I'm probably going to miss them. But if they're moving around on the ground, you just try and predict their movement. But you don't have to account for your own velocity. That's not something you have to do. My friend's making fun of me for being in a practice range right now. Doesn't know what I'm doing. So I'm going to switch over into Junkrat just to show you this concept a little bit further. 0% inheritance doesn't exist on anything, so people expect it on Junkrat too. So like, they expect that the grenades or whatever will move with your own velocity, but that's not true. It's just wherever you're aiming when you click, that's where it's going to go. So I mean, it's as simple as that. So don't overcomplicate it by trying to account for some physics object that isn't there. I know in the real world, you would think that the grenades or whatever would move with your own velocity, but that's not true. So simplify your aiming if you're overcomplicating it, and that can really go a long ways in improving your effectiveness at killing people in Overwatch. So I hope this video has been helpful for you all. Thanks.